Hey there. I am going to be working on talking about writing with you, whether it's music or plays or books. And sometimes I'll be talking about singing with you. Today, I want to talk about blocks, writer's block specifically. I want to give you 3 quick, actionable things that you can do immediately if you're facing a blank page and going, huh. So here's what you do. 1, step away, go get a cup of coffee, go for a walk, do something that changes where you are, changes your perspective, changes your frame of mind. 2, don't start at the beginning. Don't start with the first sentence. We build the first sentence up as something huge in our minds that it has to be perfect, because if someone reads the first sentence and they're not into it, then they're out. Instead, start with the second sentence. Sometimes I forego the entire first paragraph. I start in the middle of things, second paragraph at least, and I come back around and I write that first paragraph after I finish, if it's a short story or book or whatever, because that lets all the pressure out, because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves about that. And if it's a play, sometimes I'll go, EXT for exterior, INT for interior, and then I'll come in the middle of the scene. And sometimes I'll even forego the entire first scene and instead go right to the second scene and then come back around, because sometimes you don't know where to start. And that's why you feel like you're blocked. It's not that you're blocked. It's that sometimes you need to see what else happens in order to go back and introduce it properly. I'm going to give you a quick example. So I just wrote this play called A Slice of Democracy, and it takes place in a polling center right before an election. And one of the characters is 18, 19 years old. This is her first time being able to vote, but she's not going to vote. And I wrote this entire thing and went, oh, well, how am I going to show that Madison can vote? In other words, if she's been all set and decided that she's never going to vote, and she says that in the show, it's one of the very first things she says, how am I going to talk about this later when she maybe makes a different decision in a way that doesn't take up a lot of time, like, oh, now we have to register you to vote. So I go back and I went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have her say something along the lines of, well, even though I automatically got registered to vote when I got my driver's license, I'm never voting. Now, those few words, that one sentence, made all of the other stuff that I was worried about go away. So don't worry about any of the stuff that's leading up to what you need to say. Start saying what you need to say. And the rest you can go back and add in later if that's what you need to do. And now that brings me to point number 3. I always tell all of my writing students this: if you don't know what to say, ask yourself that question. If I were someone who knew what to say right now, what would I say? And then answer the question. It's an amazingly easy way to get your brain out of the way, because sometimes, again, you get in your own head and you go, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. But if you just ask yourself that question and go, oh, if I were someone who knew what to say, if I were someone who knew what to write, what would I say? And just giving yourself that bit of space between having to be the person who knows what to say and asking yourself the question about being the person who knows what to say makes all the difference, and you get started and you go. And before you know it, you're going to be done with that draft. All right, I hope these writing tips helped for today. I'll be back. I'm going to be doing this as often as I can over the next however many years I do this. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Isolde, by the way, and I'll see you next time.